Norwich, Connecticut, the rose capital of New England. And the next time you're in Norwich to stop and smell the roses, I have a place for you to get a bite to eat. Olde Tymes restaurant has been in Norwich for nearly 40 years, and there's a reason why. The great service, the wonderful tasting food, and you feel like family.
It's a family atmosphere.
Staff, the food, everything.
Thank you for calling Olde Tymes. How can I help you? Hi, my friend. I'd like to have some of your eggs for breakfast this morning. What's that? All right. Thank you so much for your time today, Rodney and Lucille.
Glad to have you.
Tell us about the food we have in front of us today.
Menu's not real fancy, but we're known for having a few things on the breakfast menu that nobody else has around here.
Okay.
Like chicken fried steak. Like Texas style chicken fried steak, but instead of using cube steak like they do in Texas, I actually use boneless New York strip that we hand cut, tenderize, and batter deep fried. I'm going to have some fried catfish. Fried catfish is not unusual, except up here. Cinnamon crisp. Cinnamon crisp, that's something I made up. Cinnamon crisp is a deep fried cinnamon sugar coated French toast.
Whoa.
And we serve it like, we'll give you syrup, like a lot of people do with French toast. But then what we also do, we give you a little cup of the juice from our hot baked apples.
They look delicious.
One day, just by accident, I dropped a piece of cinnamon crisp off a plate and it fell in a pan of apples. I picked it up, took a bite. Ever since then, we've been serving the apple juice with the cinnamon crisp so people can dip the cinnamon crisp in the juice. Winner.
And then this veggie omelet here is just an example of the many different types of omelets people can create.
Oh yeah. Caribbean style with bananas and nuts and coconut and powdered sugar on top.
Tell us about the history of Olde Tymes.
A local gentleman had this idea to connect two houses. And they're both like pre-1900 homes. And so he did this. He built this whole place. And this was all out of his brain. All of the decor, everything came from George. They opened up in April of '83. Unfortunately, it didn't go well. They closed it in October, actually Halloween night. And so then we happened to drive by it with a for sale or lease sign in front of it. We were looking for a place, okay. Got with them. And on Christmas Eve, we met down at McDonald's after we looked at it a couple of times. And we went down to McDonald's, and George and I talked, and I grabbed a napkin, and I just wrote out a couple of sentences on there saying, "We will take over February 1st, and next week, blah, blah, blah." Gave him a small check to hold it. We shook hands, and that was it. And that was Christmas Eve '83, and we took over the property and reopened in February of '84.
But yet here you are still, 20 years later.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
So it all comes down to a napkin, a handshake, and McDonald's.
That's it.
And what about catering?
Catering for us is very simple. We feed people.
If you're hungry, they'll feed you.
We can do anything from we can give you a buffet for 50 people for, something simple for $600-700. Or we can do a full black tie formal wedding, full linen service staff, go to like the pavilion at Rocky Neck Park, gorgeous seaside. We're one of the approved caterers there. And, full thing with bar service and appetizers and the full serving staff. It'll run $100 a person. That's still anywhere from 30 to 50% less than almost anybody else charges.
Oh, and what are your hours?
7 to 2.
7 to 2.
Every day.
So thank you again for your time.
I enjoy eating here. It's a family atmosphere, and I enjoy all the workers that work here.
Oh, very, very similar. It's the atmosphere, staff, the food, everything. Very welcoming.
Roses are red, violets are blue. Olde Tymes restaurant has got something on the menu for you. That's my perspective. Hey, New England, what's your perspective? Olde Tymes restaurant in Norwich, Connecticut.